Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, Tina, Ariana, Carol. Today definitely made my ears bleed. I'm telling you, hearing Leticia whine and whine and whine for hours today and yesterday. What the heck? That woman can talk. I've never met somebody who could talk more than Leticia. She she should write fiction novels or something because the stuff that spews out of her mouth is just nonsense. Just lie after lie after lie. I heard that too. 5 hours tomorrow. I think it's interrogation. Oh my gosh. Sophie, yada, yada, yada. What does that even mean? It's like her go to phrase when she doesn't want to fill in the blanks. And I went to the store and yada, yada, yada. Gannon went missing. What? Hey, Melissa. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Tabitha. Erica. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to see you guys here. I was really hoping that we would get more of the expert that came on, that personality. I can't remember his exact title, but I was hoping we would get more from him. He seemed like an interesting guy. Hello again from Wales. Love it. I can't stand the broad. Oh gosh, same. Same. But you know what? Hey Charlotte, thank you so much. Al is a saint. Al is just I don't know where his patience comes from. I don't I mean he's doing it for his son, so he's just like, ooh, from the core of his soul, I know he wanted to tell her to just stick it where the sun doesn't shine because even at times he kind of lost it. You could tell he's just losing his patience. He's like, Leticia, you told me this and now you're telling me this and oh my lord. Wendy, so glad you made it. Agree. Baloney for sure. Yes, Elle does get all the kudos and points. For sure. Her voice is something of horror movies. I agree. I was watching it and I'm like, I don't want to miss anything because we're doing these lives, but you don't know how bad I wanted to fast forward through it. But even if I fast forward through it the whole day, the whole entire day was her whining and screeching and making up stories. Um, how'd you guys like her hair today? She had, I think she had I don't know what she had, like a messy bun maybe, like half up, half down. I was like, wow, look at Leticia dressing up for us. Oh, the long pauses. Yeah, that was just so she could, yeah. Because she'll ramble, 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 and then all of a sudden it'll go quiet, and then she'll go on to something new, a new revelation. And it's just like, come on. I, Everyone can see right through it. Hey, Nancy, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Space buns. Oh, I'm glad you made it. I just can't figure out how. Oh, oh, here we go. Two other kids, thief, and then she couldn't decide what method and just used them all. Very true. Very true. We'll never know the answer to what happened that day for sure. But according to, and we'll get there, I wrote some notes from yesterday, but the most information well, not the most information, but the one statement that stood out from yesterday's court session was that they said it was a very bloody scene, a very gory scene with multiple weapons used. I feel like I'm so low in the frame. I think my chair is down. Let me see if I can raise my chair up a little bit. It's going to go way up. I know it. Don't pop up on me. Okay, here we go. There we go. That's better. Yeah, I think Lena was outside as well, or it happened before Lena got there and she was cleaning up when Lena got home. Charlotte, I hope she does as well. I know the jury's seeing right through her. The girl doesn't have a soul. I've never, well, I have, but she's unique but not unique when it comes to cases like this. Editing art studio, I feel mentally ill after watching every day. I hear you. I hear you. And I try to listen to what she says so I can kind of find some truth in what she's saying, because today she said that there was, and I guess we'll get there. I'm kind of skipping ahead. I'm just chatting while we wait for Jeannie to join in. But when they were in the car and then she added he had a bloody lip and it's like every story she added a little bit more information. You got to wonder, is there a little sprinkle of truth perhaps in what she's saying? Between her child's antics over testimony while in court, there's no way the jury doesn't see through her. There's no way. They're human just like you and I. There's no way that they're going to. She's just so calculated. It's not a person that's insane. It's somebody that's plotting and planning and trying to get her way, which was ultimately to get back with Al and dangling his missing son in front of his face, just so she could get his attention and get him back. And I'll meet with you and let me move back with you and I'll tell you where Gannon is. Who does that? Hello. So yeah, she is malicious to say the least.
Hey everyone, how's everyone doing today? Sorry I'm late. I was still trying to take notes. I'm so excited to see Johnny Grusing. I know we'll get to that. But also, I was trying to change my StreamYard picture. But then again,
Oh.
screaming does kind of match today.
Oh my
I have this
gosh.
picture, looking for one of those pictures where cats have their paws over their ears. That's what I was looking for, but
Oh.
not
that
happening. So yeah.
Oh, that would have been perfect because that's how I felt all day long. I didn't want to miss
Yeah, I
anything,
got
but I
this.
didn't want to watch either.
I got it. Just so you all know, I got a text from Kim early on that said all it said was my ears are bleeding. And I was like, oh, you poor girl.
Oh, thank you so much, Ashley. I appreciate it. I find it hard to believe
Yeah.
that Harley didn't smell anything in the van. Ashley, I am with you. That entire trip, there's just no way. I believe she knew. I don't think she should be charged, but I think she knew. I don't believe that she's scared of Letecia. Is she a victim or a perp? I honestly think that she was put into a situation as a young teenager with her mother, being homeless and, on the run. I really don't think that she should be charged, especially she's helping. She is going against her mother in the end. So she's So maybe at the
Yeah,
time she was kind of just going
exactly.
along with it, but now she's like, nope, this is what we did, this is where we went. Yes, I did see that suitcase, but I didn't, or maybe she said she didn't see this. Either way, she said there was suitcases in there, and so she is helping the prosecution with the case. So she would have
Right,
probably gotten immunity anyways,
right.
even if she said yes, I knew it
If
was
she
in there. I
asked,
just
right, and she,
yeah
yeah, she had lawyers, which maybe could have, if they felt like she had, culpability, they could have, negotiated immunity. But I think you're right, Ashley. She talked about you don't think she's scared of Leticia. Yeah, it's questionable. Like, she talked about being slapped by her. We as adults, I'm not, I don't know how old you are, Ashley. I'm not going to ask. But we as adults think, oh, well, she could just leave, not a problem. She could just get out of that van, walk away, or she could walk away from that house, that sort of thing. But it's still your mom. No matter what you do, it's still your mom. No matter where you go, it's still your mom. Your life is still around. That's still your mom. But I
yeah
do still believe she smelled something. I do.
yeah
Yeah, no matter
yeah.
what.
Especially with the fluids that were underneath that suitcase, even if he was frozen, there was some defrost going
Mm-hmm.
on because they found
Mm-hmm.
some matter of some
Oh,
sort
right.
which underneath that suitcase. So
Right. There's adipose below the suitcase, which, that, I mean, that shows. And yeah, I just, okay, did you, I missed it. I didn't see, did you say hello to everyone? Oh,
yep,
we
yep.
have, let's see. Oh, Erica and Wendy and Carol, and is our Carolyn here too? The two Carolyns. I do not know. Oh, I do know. I wanted to say, I don't. I wasn't sure if Kim was gonna stay or not, but um, Kelly over at Watch the Obsession, she promoted this tonight. Just kind of let her people know that we were doing this over here, which
Which
was
is
very
so sweet of
nice.
her. Yeah, absolutely. I love it
Yeah,
when creators help support other creators. I'll have to pay it forward for her.
right.
That was really nice.
And she's completely for that. She's completely, she supports, she supports the idea that creators should, work together, that sort of thing. So,
Right, right.
I just mentioned that I would be here. Sometimes I'm on her channel. I do some things for her. So sometimes I'm on her channel doing lives. And so I said, hey, I'm going to be over here. And she was like, oh, well, let me tell people. So, hey, there you go.
Jeannie
So
gets
now people
around.
know. I get, oh, you're terrible. Jeannie gets a right. That's awful. That was a long time ago.
don't don't remind me of my college days.
I am an old married woman now, and I behaved. That was a long time ago.
Oh, too funny. Well, yeah, that's great. Hopefully she joins in today so we can say hi to her. But if not, I appreciate the shout out either way. So that was really cool.
Oh yeah, I
All right,
did
so I
ask her if she'd
go
come
ahead. Go
by,
ahead.
but I don't know. No, I was just gonna say that I did ask her to come by, but I don't know if she'll be able to. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, um, no, I think that was it.
Okay, yeah.
That was it.
So yesterday, the end of the day was a lot of painful conversations of more of Letecia talking, but the day did
Uh,
start with them finding the board and how the officers spent their energy in that area trying to search it because they thought that because they found that particle board that they were going to find Gannon in that area. So instead of following Letecia and they never I bet they never assumed that she actually picked him up versus they were thinking that she dropped him off. And so
right,
they spent just numerous hours and manpower searching and searching that area because they had that one lead, and that is just so unfortunate.
Yeah.
But they did get on his phone, on Al's phone, they did find a picture of that actual particle board with the missing corner piece. So that was, they found it from 2019. He took a picture of
Yeah.
it because he was making a project for Lena. And so, which was, I'm like, wow, that is some amazing police work. How many text messages did he
Exactly. That
get?
you went back that far and you found that picture and wow, right?
Yeah, right, right. So I was really surprised by that, but that was really cool. And then, they went in. The prosecution asked the question, "How come you didn't arrest her for giving false
Oh,
information?" And
right.
I'm just like, of all the times to, to cross-examine and ask some great questions, you're asking
Right.
why they didn't arrest her for false information at the very beginning
Right.
of the case, and it's like they're trying to follow her. And so he the officer was like, what difference would it have made? She would have just gotten a court date and been out anyways. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't really, I mean, on the other hand, it's your job to make sure people are obeying the law, but on the
Right.
other hand, that's nothing when you're talking about a missing child. Like, what?
Well,
I
and
don't
they're
know.
making it sound like the police A weren't doing their job or B really didn't believe that she had done anything wrong yet. Like they had to work up to it. No, they had to work up to probable cause.
Right,
It takes a lot. So yeah, I every single time that he asks a witness that, well, this happened and she did this, why didn't you arrest her? Because
yeah,
she did many things. Lying to a
exactly.
federal agent is a crime, and yep, you will get, yeah, a sentence for it. I,
Right, right.
but
But it
that
actually
doesn't mean that they're going to
backfired on
arrest you
him.
right away.
Right.
What's that?
And
Yeah,
the question backfired on him. It's like, you're an idiot. Like, they're like, what
exactly,
could have that have
exactly.
done? How that wouldn't have helped us find Gannon.
Right.
Do you have a point here? Is that, we're here about Gannon, not about her lying to a police officer. It's like jaywalking. What are you talking about when it comes to murder?
Seemed like
Oh,
everyone
no,
was
it's super
reminding
itchy.
someone that it was about Gannon.
Yeah,
Al did a lot of that. He did a lot of reminding Leticia, this is about Gannon. This
right.
is not about someone else. This is about Gannon.
Right, right. Kate, we'll come back to you on how to change at the end. We'll try to do a walkthrough with you on
Yeah.
how to change your pick.
Yeah. There's a
Um,
little click on edit avatar button. And I was clicking on it. Yeah, it wasn't working.
yeah.
Okay, so what else?
So then, just Al playing the part, Leticia, where are you? Who's
Oh.
paying for the room? I want to come stay with you.
Yeah.
And
Who's
Al,
staying with you? Did you
yeah,
sleep
I know who's
alone?
staying. Right. And he's like, well, do you know how hard it was to be alone on Valentine's Day? And I'm like, you
Yeah.
go, Al, because I
Mm-mm.
know you do not want to be in the same room as that woman. But he just
No.
played
And
along.
and the whole I could not believe because I had a timeline here of when she was where she was. So I knew that by the time he was talking to her, she was already in South Carolina. And there she was. He was saying, if you can answer these questions, then I will meet you. And she was like,
Right.
meet me. Just meet me. You know,
Yes.
yeah.
It's just
Oh,
another manipulation of her just dangling him, dangling his son, his missing son, in front of him. Like, I'll give you all the information. All you have to do is be my husband again. And it's just like, what?
exactly. Exactly. You have to sleep
Uh,
next to me and you have to actually be my husband. I thought, wow,
wow.
oh boy, what's it gonna take to do that? Because if he does that, ooh, he needs more than an award. Tim and I were talking about how he needs an award, but not gold. Because,
Yeah,
wedding pans are made out of gold, Kim said, so no.
you're not supposed to say that.
Hey, sorry, you didn't tell me.
I said that. I said he doesn't deserve a gold one because he married her. He only gets the bronze.
Oh, I got you. I thought you meant it the other way. I don't know. I tell you, he did so much. Um, Erica was talking about. Can we talk about how annoyed Mitch and Amber
The
were when the defense with the defense's questions?
Yeah,
Wait, who's Mitch? What am I
the
forgetting here?
the officer. Is that what you mean, Erica? The officer? Do you think there
Oh,
was a phone
the
call
one
recording
before.
after
Yeah.
they find the
Hmm.
suitcase? I know it. Um, yeah. Erica, she was in jail after the suitcase was found, so I don't know if Al was accepting calls from her or not. I'm not really sure. I
I
guess we'll
think no.
find
I
out.
think all of this was before.
Yeah,
Everything
this is
was
all before.
before. They said it was and it was 2:15, and she wasn't arrested until she was arrested on March 17th.
Yeah,
And just in case, the defense is curious. The arrest warrant was issued on February 28th, but it was executed on March 17th. But they hadn't found Gannon yet. So
right.
all those recordings, I'm sorry, I know you asked Kim, Miss Erica, but all of it was before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They can't do jail calls because she wouldn't answer. Well, she wouldn't answer the questions. Not really. Yeah.
I found it really interesting. Oh, but Erica, to answer the question about Mitch and Amber, the witnesses, yeah, they were just like, what are you even talking about? Yeah, they were kind of mimicking how
Yeah.
me and
Ow.
Jeannie are talking. Like,
Exactly.
do you have a point here? And that's why I say it kind of backfired because the jury is seeing, dude, you sound like an idiot.
That's what we were thinking. The
So
questions he asked them were just so off point. I was like,
yeah,
what is wrong with you?
wrong
Do
with
we
you.
need to talk? Do I need to take you to the side and, give you some pointers? I'm so not a lawyer, but, could give you some pointers.
Right.
I do
But
love that when Al started, he said, I have questions. My first one is the bike accident true?
true.
No.
No. Yeah.
She said
Yeah.
no. And if I had been Al, I would have been like, well, what the hell? You just told me. But nope, nope, nope. He controlled it as much as she said he yelled at her, and he did yell some, but
Yeah. Yeah. He
boy, all he
really,
yelled, oi,
yeah. He kept his, I don't know where that came from. You just got, it's a glimmer of what possibly their whole marriage was like. I mean, I don't, I'm sure it's different because of what's going on and he was keeping his cool because he wanted to keep her talking, but
yeah,
her demeanor, the way she is isn't different. I mean, she's as manipulative as the next, it seems like, or not even the next, as she is.
well, yeah.
But she said yesterday, she said, bias was contacting me to, and I actually kind of believe that maybe he was contacting her to
Who was
defend her.
contacting her?
Bias.
Oh, Baez. I heard that.
Yes.
Actually
Yes.
heard. I did hear that Jose Baez did contact her to try to represent her. I believe that. I do.
I believe it too. I don't know if I believe it. Why didn't she hire him if he did? But
I
maybe
don't
he,
know, but this
yeah.
this trial would have been a circus.
Oh my God. It would have been right up his alley. He'd probably
And
been sleeping with her too.
oh, exactly. Exactly. I've been watching his other trials, not just the Casey Anthony trial, his other
Yeah.
trials. He wins. He's good.
He's good.
As much as we hate him and we hate what
Right.
he did,
Right.
he's good. And come on, he got her out of that. He has to be good. Yeah, he is good. And I wonder, no, I don't think he could have gotten Letecia not guilty by reason of insanity. I don't think he could have done that. But I think this trial would have been a little bit different. I think he would have asked the questions that we think should be asked. There's ones that were like, "Are you kidding me?"
Right. Right. Right.
You know. So yeah,
So yeah, it could have been nothing, but I just thought about it and I'm like, I wonder if he really, or she just watched a Casey Anthony trial and she may have even reached out to him.
Well, and it may have been that way. I just know there were contact between the two. I think that he did an interview. I'll have to pull it up. It was very, very, very early on. It was a long time ago. But it was after she was arrested. He was contacted, and he said that he did have contact with her. He talked about the case, and that was all he could say. You know how
Oh,
lawyers are, but
right,
he
right.
said that
They can't. Right.
they talked about how the case would be, I think, or something. I can't remember how he put it, but yeah. But he said he just said I didn't end up taking her case. He didn't say she didn't want it or I didn't want it. It was something like that. But yeah, yeah,
Right, right.
yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Interesting. But how it ended yesterday was just a little bit bizarre because she starts adding to the story. She's saying, his arms were burnt and he was bleeding. And then Al goes into what about on the wall? And he's like, oh, yeah, but that was from the foot thing. And then it was from me being assaulted. And it
Well,
was a
and
mix of both of our blood. And
he kind of put that in, and I was thinking, I wonder if the FBI agent gave that to him. A lot of times in interrogations, when they use the Reed technique, they will give them an alternate theory of the crime.
rhyme.
And
Right.
so I wondered, did they give that to him to offer to her? Maybe it was maybe your head was hit. His head would maybe that was your blood.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say she jumped on it, but she definitely grabbed onto that and said, yes, it was her. I loved how she said, all that blood was cleaned up before. It has nothing to do with this. Nothing to do with this.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with this. He's just bleeding all over the room profusely.
I mean, if it had
It's not
nothing to do
related.
with this, then he should have been in a hospital, right?
Right,
Whoever
right.
lost that much blood needed to be in a hospital,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Mhm.
And so then, of course, we start today with just more conversations and loops and turns. And the Nancy Grace thing,
Ugh.
Erica, yes,
Mm.
that was probably the only time I kind of perked up like, what? She sent the polygraph to Nancy Grace, and Nancy Grace is going to protect her because Nancy Grace believes her. And if you've ever watched a Nancy Grace
Oh yeah,
show,
sure. Nancy Grace is gonna protect her.
Nancy
Well,
Grace
when
is
I lived in Florida, I lived like what we lived like maybe a half an hour from where Kaylee Anthony went missing. So every
oh,
single day, like on the news, on news briefs, every night in the news, like you'd go to the gas station and there was the story on the newspapers. So we were like engulfed in it, and Nancy Grace was
right.
so much of that. Bombshell tonight. So
She
yeah,
is
I watched. Go ahead.
she's a lot. Oh my gosh, she's a lot. And she says exactly what is on her mind. And she's never playing both sides. She's always like one heated
She
side
picks
when
a side, and that's her side. She decides
yeah,
what she
yeah.
believes, which, whether I like her or not, and whether I like the side that she's picked or not, I do appreciate that she picks a side and stays there.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
she doesn't go back and forth, and you know,
She's a little abrasive because I feel like she's screaming at me.
oh yeah, she's very abrasive. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I'm always like tensing up when I watch her, but I like what she says in small doses, but I couldn't
Yeah,
watch her day after day. But,
small doses,
I respect her, but yeah, I don't know if I couldn't watch her
small
on repeat.
doses.
My blood pressure would be like through the roof. I need a glass of wine, woman. You're stressing me
She
out.
does have exactly. She does have. She has a show. Oh, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Cannot remember. Bloodlines. I think maybe. Um. Sometimes I think it is. Sometimes when I do cases, they'll be related to that, and I think it's finding missing people, like older stories. I think.
Okay.
Don't quote me on
Okay.
that. The 70 people that are watching, please don't quote me. But
It was never, you heard nothing.
yeah, you heard nothing. I said nothing. But yeah, it's there.
Okay.
Um yeah, anyway. Just so we know. Okay.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
the Nancy Grace of it all.
Uh, uh, Kristen said she feels bad for her legal team. I don't know if you guys caught
Yeah.
during the end of it, her legal team was like this. Like their heads hurt. And like,
Yes.
and I'm like, okay, everybody's bored. Everybody's sick of hearing Leticia's lies. We already know she's guilty because she said she was guilty, or, not guilt. I did it, but I was insane. So why are we putting everybody through the torture? And then the prosecution gets up there and says, I have good news. We get to hear more of Letecia. And I have some bad news. It's only 3 more calls. And I'm like, oh, shoot me
Uh,
now. Shoot
yes.
me
Mm.
now.
Uh,
Carol
oh.
says they're literally regretting their life stories, or life choices. I hear you. I don't think they want to be there no more than anyone else. Oh my God, it was so bad.
Yeah. I. Well, and yeah, it seemed like today they were defeated. I don't know if you noticed that, but they
Yeah,
just her legal team, well, especially Cook, he just
yeah,
seemed defeated, and I was like, "That's okay, buddy. Go on home. You don't
yeah,
need to defend her. Go on,
exactly.
go on
You
home. It's
you
okay.
deserve
You know."
you deserve to go home and relax. Put your feet up, watch some Nancy Grace.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man. And then there's 5 more hours of interrogation on Friday. Why do they have to ruin our Friday?
Ugh,
Ugh,
yeah. I don't
Lord,
know. I really don't.
no,
When
I
when
just
they were
walk.
deciding whether to go to lunch or not, I was like, "It's okay, Judge. You can do it. You can go a little bit early. It's all right.
Go
It's
early.
okay. You can do this."
And then when they finished a call and I'm like, "Oh, finally, we can hear from the expert. Let's get some information into the mind of Letecia." Like I was hoping that he would shed some light on
Yeah,
the conversations and where they're going and how he guided and helped with the investigation, and but then it was
yeah.
just more of
Um,
this.
was uh was interesting to find, and she said, uh, her name's Amber, right? The FBI agent, which that was
Mhm.
funny. Would you like for me to call you an FBI agent or a special agent? Or I was like, what about her last name? Can't you just call her Miss Cook? Or not, her name's not Cook, but can't you just call her that?
Color.
What is this? Like, and then he asked the question. He was like, "Is it possible that blah 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 special agent?" Like, wow, you practiced that, didn't you, buddy? Because yeah,
Mhm. He always starts when he is cross-examining someone. He always says, "Hey, how are you today? Remember we met before?" It's like, why do you always say that? Like,
yep.
you guys, you're friends now? Did you take them out to dinner too? Like you
Oh yeah, we still want to know about the dinner. Yeah, I,
Hey,
yeah,
Huntsman.
he seems to do it, and I'm wondering if it's almost. It seems this might sound weird to you, but it seems almost threatening. Because if you think about it, what's in your deposition, you need to back up whatever you said. You need to say it on here
Oh.
too, and there too.
Oh,
And remember,
interesting.
there were a couple of things. Oh, maybe it wasn't here, but actually, when I was watching remember the mom did the baby in the trash can, Alexis Avila, when
Mhm.
when the baby daddy testified, they
Mhm.
asked about when he knew she was pregnant, and he said, and they said, "Well, didn't you testify in your deposition that it was this date?" And he
Mhm.
was like, I don't know, I don't remember that. And they were like, "Well, you testified that, and are you testifying this?" And he was like, "Yes." He was like, "Yeah," kind of like, "Yeah, whatever." He's kind of like, but yeah, I wonder if he's doing it in that way, like,
Right.
hey, you
Right.
know, I met you before. I know what you told me. You better say
Right.
the same thing again,
You better
kind of
say
thing.
the same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean,
No,
I'm
you're
curious. It could not be. It might just be him trying to be personable and it's just not working out. I don't know.
mhm. He says it
Yeah.
every time, and I'm just like, "Dude." Nobody cares if you met
Exactly.
them before. You met them in the hallway or you remember we went out to dinner and it's like, who needs to know that? You just I, I
Yeah.
don't do you have you ever heard of that lawyer before? Do you know anything about him? Is he
What's
good?
that?
Is he bad? Is he just there because
Cook?
he has to be? Yeah.
No, I've never seen him before, and I haven't heard anything about him. I mean, I'm sure
Okay.
if I looked him up now, there'd be tons of things.
Okay. Okay. I'll do some research and see if I can find out if he's done any big cases, before. It seems
Yeah,
like he would have to have some kind of good experience to be covering this case because as they've mentioned several times, this is the largest case, the largest manhunt they have had in
in that state,
decades.
yeah.
Yeah, in that
Which,
state.
okay, that is weird for me because of um Suzanne Morphew.
Oh gosh, what is up with that?
Well, okay, yeah, I know. I hesitate to bring that in because that brings terrible
Yeah,
things in, but that's in the same state.
yeah, yeah.
So saying that this is the biggest search, I don't know.
I think it's
Maybe it
because
was
it was
bigger. Maybe the
multi-state.
area
Yeah,
was bigger because it was a child,
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
or I don't know. But it's just weird to me that they have Suzanne Morphew you know in their state.
Yeah.
She went
But then
missing.
they included
Go ahead.
resources. They included other resources from other states. So now they have not only the Colorado, FBI and officers searching, but then now they have South Carolina, they have Texas, they have Florida. I mean, just so many people that were involved.
Right,
The CSI teams from each
right.
division checking the house, checking the suitcase, checking the van. Oh my, would we have someone from New Jersey? Yeah, we had someone from
Yeah,
New Jersey at one point. I don't know where he plays in, but
Rhode Island. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I looked. Oh, I did find. Remember, I did find the evidence list. And yeah, in Rhode Island, it wasn't just one officer. There were several from Rhode Island.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe that's why and they did. They may have. We don't know if they mentioned it. They may have searched in South Carolina. They may have searched other places that they went. She went because remember when
Hmm.
she left on her travels. You know, they
Right.
had the what do they call it? The telemetrics and the
Yep.
because don't forget, budget knows everything you do. And then
Don't rob
also,
that liquor store.
yeah, and then also, they had what do you call it? The GPS.
Hmm.
So I'm wondering if it's that. Maybe they're talking about that, but I don't know.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So, assuming that this is a very large case, he just a public defender that maybe has an okay record, or I don't know. We'll have to look into it. Court
Yeah,
appointed lawyer. Yeah, court appointed is what I'm getting. But that doesn't mean he's a bad lawyer because they all lawyers have to do their part as far as being a court appointed. They have to do their time. So
yeah,
doesn't really necessarily mean that he's a bad lawyer. It just means that, his name got called in the stack of
right. Well,
he
and
got
in
the short
some
end of the stick.
states, um, up north, I think it's. Let me think. So I'm thinking about a specific case. I think it was the case actually happened in Rhode Island, but Rhode Island is so small that they tried it in. I think they tried it in the adjoining state, but um, they actually require the best of the best for
Okay.
their yeah, for their public defenders. So whenever a
Mm-hmm.
trial is coming up, a judge actually appoints a lawyer and calls him in and says, this is going to be your case. So in some states, it has to be the best, and this was the best lawyer that state had ever seen. So yeah, um,
That's
I
interesting.
don't
Yeah,
know. Yeah.
because you want them to get proper representation so they can't come back later and
Oh, you
file
really do.
you right, an
Yes.
appeal and start this process all over again and just cost the more tax dollars to defend her again or retry her and all the information, all the experts and everything that goes into it. But Jeannie had a list of I wonder if I could pull that up, the list of who is going to, the witness list. Let's see.
Yes.
Let's see here. People's witness.
They had to give the prosecution had to give a list. The defense had to give a list. Now the defense didn't have to give a list until later, which I was like, wow, look at that. They didn't have to give it till much later, but they did have to provide it. But yeah, they have to say everyone that's going to be on there, and yeah.
Okay, let's see
The
here.
weird thing about that is that we had talked about that psychiatrist was supposed to be evaluating her. She's
Yeah.
not on the list, unless they have, like an addendum to the list that I haven't seen yet. And I don't know. I keep looking, but I have not seen.
What
Don't
what is
I don't know
lay?
yet. So
Lay witnesses and then law enforcement? Is it lay witnesses?
you break it up,
Lay.
babe. What you say?
Oh, I'm just saying. Oh, it says lay witnesses. Lay right
Oh,
here at the
oh,
top
gotcha,
here. Lay witnesses. Hmm.
gotcha.
I don't know. Oh, I don't know what that means. Is this a
Well,
spelling
lay
error?
witnesses would be non-experts. So you have
Non-experts. Oh, okay.
experts that give, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So if you guys see on here, we do have, but it doesn't mean they're going to testify, or at least we have Landon right here, and we have Lena right here.
We
So
do.
I I don't know. I'm really curious. I hate to think that Lena has to
Yeah,
testify. I don't want her to testify.
me
She's so
neither.
young, and why have her relive this? But on the other hand, I'm really interested to hear what she has to say about that day.
Yeah, yeah. I am too. You know, it's crazy. I'm still focused on that dang burn. So
Oh, the
I
burn.
am,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm just really trying to. I sent you a text too. Yeah. I'm really hoping that someone can tell us what that floor looked like after, or that sort of thing. I don't know. Yeah. Yes, they can't do a record Tabitha. They can't do a recorded video of her testimony, but what they can do is some states they can have her in another room, where the prosecution and then the defense would, you know, talk to her, ask her questions, that sort of thing. And I'm not sure if they're gonna do that, you know?
That's a good idea. That's less intimidating instead of putting like the Rosenbaum case where
Yeah.
the sibling had
Millie.
to, yeah, had to just sit there while the monster
Yes.
tried to intimidate them, was intentional. And Letecia is not above intimidating Lena
No.
at
Mm-mm.
all. 100%. I think she would get off on it. I think that this woman, she will take it to the extreme. It will make Lena she'll be traumatized. It just she'll relive
More than she
everything.
is.
Right.
I would bet that where she's at, they're trying very hard to keep her away from the trial, away
Media,
from.
everything. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And
Yep. Yep.
this would not do that. I'm really hoping that they don't bring her in.
I hope
Um,
I hope not. But I am
And
really interested to hear what she has to say.
yeah, it would be great to hear what she has to say. But at the same point, we still don't want to see her.
Yeah. Oh, Erica, you bring up a good point. She did it to her own daughter with the whole flipping off thing through the whole freaking trial. I don't know if she was flipping
Yeah,
off necessarily Harley, but, just being weird.
yeah,
So why
yeah,
wouldn't she do it to Lena? The whole fact that in the earlier uh, last couple days prior, whoa, that was a sentence. She mentioned or Harley mentioned Letecia asked her just to leave Lena alone in the house at nighttime and just leave.
yeah.
And, and Harley's like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Like, she doesn't give two craps about Lena at all.
Exactly. Just she's like, "Oh, you could just leave her alone," and there was no one there. And remember, there were detectives outside. Gannon was missing. It was a high stress situation, and then
Mm-hmm.
she was like, "Oh, just leave her."
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, just leave her. I don't. Yeah,
Uh, and Harley seemed like she semi had a good head on her shoulder, was like, excuse me, mom, that doesn't make any sense. But I did see, or I did hear them mention Amy in the Alan Letitia's conversation. They mentioned an Amy. Why is Amy texting me? Why is your people texting me? And there's a
yeah.
couple of Amy's on here. Deborah, we did hear Deborah. I don't know who Katrina is.
Is there?
Uh,
I can't see that because of my computer. Is there an Amy Stauch?
there's not. There's a Amy Laurie and a Amy Lang, and then
Amy
there's a
Lowry.
and
Well,
then a
well,
Deborah Locklear and a Katrina Locklear
and she very good. The Locklears are on Letitia's side.
side. Now that's
Now,
what I thought.
it
Yep.
is highly possible that she could have gotten married. For some reason, I was thinking that that was Al's sister, and she made it sound like she didn't like Al's sister, and he knew she didn't like his sister. And but I loved how she was like, you had Landon in our house. I absolutely
Mm,
did. Our child was missing, so I had her, and I had my sister, and I had all these people and that people and this people, and yeah, I absolutely did and it's not like he had Landon in his marital bed, you know. He had her
right.
in a freaking guest room, and he said you She said, "You told me to leave," and he said, "No, you said you were leaving. What was it? You beat it.
You
You
beat.
ran out. Yeah,
Yeah.
you told the press that you were leaving because of Landon. You did that, not me. You know?
Right. And she wasn't even staying there. In the end, she stayed one night and then she ended up getting a room. So that wasn't even true.
Yeah." And I liked how she said, he was saying she was talking about that sleepover and how the beds were pushed together, and he was like,
Yes.
eventually he said, "We never pushed the beds together." And honestly, we got a lot of parents in here. Who pushes the beds together for a sleepover? Sometimes
In a day before when you're
right,
sick and bleeding.
sometimes girls do, and you're sick and bleeding. She's like, "And you're sick, and you're bleeding, and you're dying." But who does that? And sometimes girls do, but rarely. If you got two beds in the room, that's perfect. But what she said was, she said, he said, "How did it go downhill?" And she said, "He was supposed to have a sleepover, but his stomach got upset, so there was no sleepover. We pushed the beds together for the sleepover because he wanted to make a fort." Then she said, "How many days has it been? There is nowhere I could take Gannon that he would not have that he would just wait a minute, hang in, that he would just be gone. How many days could he be gone just that way? How many?" She said, "You need to put that in your brain." Well, we know where he was. She
Right.
did, and there was somewhere that she could put him for those days. And I think Al knew that by then, which is so sad.
Oh, I think as soon as, I think we all knew when they leaked the affidavit that we all knew.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, that woman ended up getting fired, but he definitely knew.
yeah.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I should back up because that was after that
Oh,
was
yeah.
that was later. So let me back up. But after they found that amount of blood, I'm pretty
Right,
sure they said, "Hey, we found a significant amount of blood. We believe we're looking for a body and
right.
not, we're looking for remains." And so he was just trying to nail her to the wall. He's pissed. I mean,
Well,
you
yeah, and he said on there, he said, he said, meet me. She said, meet me. That's all I get. He said, I want the truth. I'm promising you one thing. She said, you brought your ex-wife to the house, and he said, you gave her an email saying you would support her. She said, you shouldn't have hugged her. And he said,
yeah.
yes, I should. My son is missing. Like,
Mm,
does she not get the concept of, like, considering, excuse me, considering what she did? The child is gone, and he kept saying, I want the five back. And there's one gone. How do we get that back? How do we get our family back?
right, right. Exactly. And again, that's her just playing the role again as well. She didn't have any real goal to work with Landon at any point. She just sent it to
Yeah.
save face. Like,
Mm,
look at
mm,
me.
no.
I would
Yes,
love
exactly.
this. This is so childish and catty, but I would just love for Al and Landon to sit next to each other and Al put his arm around Landon just to see Teague. Maybe she'll get an emotion.
Exactly. Maybe at her sentencing, or maybe at her, her when they find her guilty, because I'm going with that. They have to. There has to be justice in this world. So when they find her guilty, maybe he will put his arm around Landon or hug Landon. He should
Mhm.
hug Landon in that courtroom.
Oh, for sure. For
That would
sure.
be some payback. I don't know if he knows that yet. Maybe, I don't know. Excuse me. Maybe
Yep.
somebody should get a note to Al. Let
Yeah,
him know.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
hey, buddy, you need to hug on her. That'll really, that'll hurt her. For some
Mhm.
reason, she really has a lot of jealousy for his ex-wife, which
Yeah.
leads me to, if she had that kind of jealousy for his ex-wife, how did she feel about his kids?
Oh,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? I mean,
Any anybody that stood in the way.
right. And it seems like Lena was quiet. She did her work, she stayed out of the way. And then you've got Landon here who he's on ADHD medicine. So he has ADHD, right? So
Mhm.
he has to be a sort of, I'm going to use the word rowdy, but I don't mean that in a
R
bad sense,
right, right, right.
right? I mean, kids with ADHD, they're all over the place, and that's not their fault. It is what it is. So
Right,
you've got
right.
him all over the place. And then you give him this medicine that completely messes up his stomach. Basically, what it does, it sounds like what happened to them, and I've seen it happen to my friend. Her kids had the same thing happened. I just took her child to the doctor the other day for the same reason, because that medicine blocks them up. It constipates them for so long
Yep,
that
yep.
eventually, when they go to the bathroom, they can't control it. You know what?
It's it's unfortunate. Yeah, you're
But
trying
so
to
think
fight
about
one battle.
right. So think about that. You've got this woman you hate, and you got this one kid who's really quiet and stays out of the way. Then you got this one over here that is constantly what we'll call to her acting out. I don't think any of
Mm,
that was, but we'll say that, right?
right,
She has to feel a certain way about him, and the feelings of Landon has to be attached to that.
right, right. And
That's
she's doing all those Google searches, which you could tell that her frustration was building. She was already, why do I have to take care of these kids? Why can't the mom, instead of getting her nails done, send money for her kids, and it's
Exactly.
all just building up. And
Things
then
that
Gannon
Google are
spills.
never going to tell you, by the way.
I know. And then Gannon knocks over a candle, and she just
Ugh.
that's it. You're you're donezo because of nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that text that she sent to Harley, that I don't know. You and I, we've gone back and forth. Was there a fire? Wasn't there a fire? How did it start? We don't know.
Yeah,
That text, that was something, all right. He started this big fire. I had to take Lena and the dogs outside. There was all this smoke. And Harley
right.
comes home, and I don't remember. Did she say she smelled smoke?
She said that she did. Yeah, when she went
Okay.
downstairs. Or hold
So there
on.
was smoke. I know that when she went downstairs, it was cold. The windows
Yeah, it
were
was
open.
open. I'm pretty sure she did because yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And so yeah, she goes down there, she smells smoke, but the windows are open, so it aired out fast. It was only a small area and a blanket.
Yeah.
And so I can't imagine it was too horrible. I don't know.
Well, right, but that's to us. But what about to her?
Right.
You know?
There's so many more questions after they finished, just me laying in bed and thinking about it. So many more questions I wanted to ask Harley. But I think the most informational part that she put out there is that her mom was not any different mentally.
Right, exactly. She wasn't this person. She wasn't that person.
That person.
How
They
many
asked that
people
again today.
just
Yeah.
right? She wasn't. Ugh, Christ, criminy. Sorry, criminy.
Yeah.
I wrote it down. Where was it? Yeah, but she wasn't. She wasn't Taylor. She wasn't Harmony. She wasn't Christina. She wasn't Little Lucia. She wasn't any of them. Yes,
She wasn't talking in a Spanish accent. She wasn't speaking
exactly.
Spanish. Nope, none of that. But you were talking about the mental health professionals, and it looks like on this list, it's not the big names that we thought it was. It's these people here. So it looks like 4 experts are going to be
Right.
testifying.
There is a separate list. Let me see if I can find that. I was looking into Will Cook. It says he is a seasoned defense lawyer who represents. Well, it ran away. Um,
It ran away.
expert criminal defense lawyer, 22 years of legal experience in criminal law. He will thoroughly analyze the facts for your case and prepare the best legal defense for your unique circumstances. Let's see what
All
else it
right.
says. The goal in every criminal case is to determine whether or not a legal or factual argument can be made that can result in the dismissal of the charge or acquittal after the trial, or alternatively, a mitigation of the penalties associated with the conviction. So, if you get convicted, are there things that we can bring up to lower your sentence? Which those things are helpful if you're a criminal defense attorney. It says he's each criminal case is unique, and attorney Will Cook has extensive experience in both prosecution and the defense of criminal cases. So it says he has done okay, so felony, misdemeanors, DUI, domestic assault, traffic, burglary, fugitive, economic, and it goes on and on and on.
On and on. Okay, so
Yep,
he's like a jack of all trades, whatever you throw at me.
it looks like it. It does look like it. I'm gonna save that, and I will go look into him more later. But that's what the main page for him says. We
I'm
were
just
put in
wondering if
the
he's covered anybody before. I mean, yeah, I can do
oh,
some research as well, but
who he's done
yeah,
right.
like, is there any big cases that he's done previously to get
Right.
to the point
You
where
have
he's right now? doing what he's doing.
Nothing was mentioned in there. Well, and the thing is, he isn't the lead. Tellini is. Um, hang on. Has Will Cook?
Old Bat Two Cats, I agree. It is all about her and her alone. She at no point considers anybody else's frame of mind. It's all very self-centered, self-serving, dangling Gannon in front of his grieving dad like he's a like he's just a possession.
Yes.
I'll give it to you if you do this. They compared it. Al said at one point, "Do you remember when you took that $7,000-8,000 and you made me go on Instagram and clear it out or clear it up?" And it's just like, why should he have to do that? It's his son.
Exactly.
Put
Exactly.
yourself in his shoes there, T. If Harley went missing, which I'm starting to think that maybe it wouldn't be that big of a deal, although she would love the attention and make it
Yeah.
seem like it's a big deal, but I just don't think she has a soul after seeing her
No. No.
the other day. I had hope for her, but I lost all hope after that day. I'm like,
Oh.
wow.
Hey Ozark, and look at that. Old bat two coat two cats. Is that how you say it? Old
All
bat.
at
Old
two
bat two cats.
cats.
Old bat two cats. Hey, how are you? Haven't seen you. Um. So yeah, I am looking here for the let's see here, the supplemental. Hang on a second. Let's see. Here it is. People supplemental. Then that's the people's. We don't need that. Well, unless we want it. I'll pull that up and see if there's anything good on there.
Okay. In the interview at the back of the camera, she said, "I, me, my," so many times. "I want to be with you. We should be together. Are you going to be my husband?" And yes, I agree. Ozark Lisa, 100%. It was all self-serving.
Okay, so they've got four. This is for the prosecution with people for the state of Colorado. Dr. Christine Moore, she's an expert from the Kansas Department for Aging and Disability Services. We got Robert Sorosis. He's a retired deputy. Let's see. Holly Werstein, expert. They don't say it. What? Kurt.
Just an expert.
Well, I'm sorry, but they don't. They just have an address there.
He's a mechanic.
I can look her up, but Holly may be a mechanic. We don't know.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
don't start that rabbit hole.
no, yeah. Sorry, I'm not gonna say Holly's a mechanic. I'm so sorry. Holly probably has great information for us. And then Kurt Smith, which is listed as an expert and also does not say an expert in what, but we are not going to speculate because we have many, many, many other things to speculate about. I am looking forward. There it is, the defense witness list. I'm looking for any additions to. Let's see here.
Old bat to cats. I hadn't heard Al had tried to adopt Harley, and Letecia refused until that phone call. I honestly didn't even hear that. Did I zone out during that part? I didn't hear
hear
that.
it either.
Yeah,
Old bat to cats? Was the phone call played when? Was it before lunch? Was it played yesterday? When was it played? Because I did not hear it. Oh,
I heard
Carol
that too,
Hearn.
Chris. Yeah, I heard that
Carol
too.
Hearn had that too. All right, guys. I'm gonna have to go back and listen. I'm sorry about that. I did not catch that.
He said he begged to adopt her. Wow. Al
Okay,
seems like he's kind of a decent guy.
Hadn't
Like,
tried to adopt Harley, and
the end of the day, I'm telling you, the end of the day, I was spent. I was so spent. I was out complaining.
The end of the day today, Tabitha.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it says. Yeah, today.
All right.
Oh, but Obet says it was before lunch. I don't know. Oh, I can't listen to it again. I'm just gonna have to trust what you guys say.
I'll listen to it, and I got it. One second though, we do have a second expert here, Mike. Did you hear anything about Al asking to adopt Harley? No. Okay. All right. All right.
It was on the last 2 calls. I'm telling you,
No.
I was just spent by that point.
Last
I was so
two.
done listening to Letecia that
That was, and guys, that was before gruesing, right? Or was it after gruesing?
sounds like it was the last 2 calls, so it must have been the end of the day, today. So after Gruesing.
He said something like, "I begged you to let me adopt Harley, and you refused. So don't give me that."
Yeah. Maybe I did hear, them bring up Harley, where Al was like, "What if this was Harley?" You know?
Oh yeah,
I
you
did
would
hear
be doing
that.
this. You'd be doing
You doing
that.
that. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I am gonna go back and listen for it. Um,
You
if my
are a
ears
saint.
bleed, I'll just put some cotton in them. No problem. And yeah,
Oh,
it was kind of the same conversation for over 5 hours until he finally said, "What did you hear?" Now, oh my goodness, the "what did you hear," Kim? Ugh.
I know.
I mean, the "what did you hear?" She heard, ugh, the things she heard, and the way that the Amber the FBI agent talked about it after, um, makes it sound like, and it's possible, like she was trying to tell parts of it. She was trying to say, and she said, "All I hear is Gannon screaming." Um,
God.
yeah,
Tell a
all I hear
parent
is
that.
Gannon screaming, and she talked about the gun, and she talked about the knife, and so yeah. Let's see, Dr. Rhonda Niederhauser, they added her. I'm still looking to see if the defense has added any other. Let's see.
Lisa, when you say you want to know about her husband, you mean her first husband, Leticia's first husband? The one that
Chance
overdosed?
Hunt.
Yeah. I'm wondering,
That's a heck of a name, Chance Hunt. Well, Lisa, I will tell you what. I am getting ready to go and do a dig on the case, so I will dig on Chance Hunt. Um, let's see here. I'm gonna be digging on Chance Hunt anyway. So,
yeah, you
um,
wonder if he has like a legal history, with the drug abuse and whatnot, if
maybe,
there's
yeah.
more going on there. That's interesting. Yeah, because after being married to her, I think that I would need some drugs too.
If
It's terrible. It's terrible, isn't
no,
it?
it's not terrible, love. It's true. And if he
Oh,
wasn't, if he wasn't deceased, he would be front and center in that courtroom.
oh, for
What was she
sure.
like? Did she ever talk
Yep,
about this person? Was she ever little Lucia? Was
yep,
she ever any of those things?
yep,
Okay,
yep.
so Chance Hunt.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dead Barbarian, I can't believe she lied to Harley about her own dad's death, and
Oh
Harley had to find
no.
out. She's 20, and she just
Oh,
found out a week ago that her dad overdosed, and that Letecia had to paint this beautiful picture that he was murdered and it was this tragic, the poor guy, instead of just saying, being honest, we're
yeah.
human. People, there's good people. That doesn't mean he was a bad person.
No.
It just means that he was struggling and overdosed. And this
Good
should show
grief.
you that you shouldn't do drugs and this can
Right.
happen. And, bad things happen to good people, anything.
Could
But
have been a
instead,
life lesson for her, and instead, the internet told her.
yes. Oh, that poor
Which,
girl.
I at 12, I do understand the lie. I get that. If it were my child at 12, I would lie. Well,
Yeah,
no, maybe I wouldn't have. I don't know. My child was different at 12, so I might have told him. He was very, very grown up. But in general, lying to your child at 12 about a death, that kind of makes sense. But they grow up.
right, right,
There she was when this happened. She was 17. She was working. She was going to school. Actually, no, she graduated high school in 3 years. She did it online because basically she was tired of them moving her everywhere, which I don't blame her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was going into the military, right?
Yeah, she's supposed to. Letitia dropped her off.
She was supposed
Um,
to be going to the Air Force,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I'm not
I
even
didn't hear anything about that. So, but what's that? Go ahead.
Letitia was dropping Harley off at the recruiter's office, and so they wanted to arrest Letitia after Harley was out of the car at the recruiter's office. I
Yes.
don't know how they knew all that
Yeah.
information. Maybe she told
Yeah.
Al or something. I'm not really sure, but that's when she was arrested after Harley was out of the car. So at least Harley didn't have to, you know, be put through that. Um,
I wonder because it happens in recruiter's office. Maybe she did not enlist. I don't know.
yeah, I
I mean,
think
obviously
maybe,
she's not there now. But she was grown enough to know the truth about her dad.
yeah, I think so. I
You
think
know,
so. I think it's, again, just her narcissist personality to paint a beautiful picture. Psychotic. Psychotic to say the least. I don't know. Parents do, if Letitia was a good person and just made a bad choice at a certain point of time, then you can kind of just write it off. You know, she was trying to protect her child. You get that. You know, she didn't want to,
oh, absolutely, sure.
you know, but when you put it into this big picture of everything that's happened, it's a terrible thing that she did.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, good.
I
You know, we
oh,
try to protect our kids, but sometimes we just make dumb decisions as
we
parents.
do, we do.
There's no
And you can love
handbook.
your child and you can love your child and still be a bad parent. It does happen. But
Yes,
that
yes.
doesn't mean that you and I wonder what she was thinking when she sat there in that courtroom and heard that.
Yeah.
What was Letitia thinking when Harley said, "Oh yeah, I found out last week, online." Like all the air was sucked out of the room here. I don't know about everywhere where else, but there was a big gasp here.
Oh
I
my
was like,
gosh.
"Oh, you're kidding me," you know? I
They they started out with a bang. I was like, "Whoa. This
Yes,
is
they
I
did.
can't go pee. I can't leave."
Right. I am not leaving at all. Not a bit. Nope.
No, not at all. I'm not gonna turn it up. I'm not gonna, put my
Nope.
headphones on. I'm right here. It's front and center. I have to see, hear, listen to everything. I was really looking at Letitia. Because I would put my headphones on and just, go and do my whatever. And but I wanted to see Letitia's reaction, and I just couldn't see it. It's blurry, so I don't know. But it
Yeah.
just seemed like it was just another day for her.
Yeah. Right Meow says Letitia has no close friends, so it seems Harley was the one she kept close, probably
Yes.
to control. Yes, to control and to confide in. And
Yeah.
which is terrible because Harley said, when she would have a fight with Al, she had a fight with Al and she thought it was over. So she told Harley to pack a bag and they left. Well, they drove from Colorado through Kansas. Don't know how far they got, but yeah, I just to do that to your child, to put them in that position where they're and the whole way she was probably talking about Al.
Right.
She
Oh,
kept
yeah.
talking about their relationship, and
Which is so bizarre because she makes her daughter so grown up with those situations, but then when she goes on her cruise, she gets a babysitter for her.
yeah,
So that does speak control. Like, I got to make sure that you're home, you're not having any house parties, you're not being a teenager. But then in another sense, I'm going to confide in you in my relationship with your stepdad, and we're going to
right,
run away together at any moment's notice. And
right.
no, it's just so weird.
Yeah. Kate asked, or KT asked, would the military have discouraged Harley from enlisting at the time because Letitia had made them infamous? Well, it's
I
possible. I mean, and here's the thing: when Al was talking today, I said to my husband, "I need you to research Al." find everything you can on Al. I need to know what he did for a living, what he did in the army." And he said,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna find out." And I said, "Right, I know that, but the news is already gonna find out." But he said it right there. He
Yeah.
said, I do this 11 hours a day. I'm a recruiter. So Al is used to judging people,
Mm.
watching people, which
Yeah.
makes this even worse. He's used to knowing if they're, good apples or good apples or bad apples, you
Pulse.
know.
Right, right.
He
How did he miss the mark so far? How did he miss the mark? What are we missing?
I do
How,
not know.
it seems like they argued all the time. They didn't really get along. She was always making up stories about to get his attention, and I don't know
Yeah,
what.
except for when they went off on their vacation for, what was it, their anniversary. Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
When the prosecutor was asking, oh, I can't remember who the witness was. Oh, it was somebody that was had Leticia's passport and Harley's passport, and they're like, "Does what stamps do they have?" And Harley had Jamaica, and then they said, "What stamps does Letecia have?" And she had a Mexico and one that they couldn't read,
Yeah.
and then the prosecution was like, "Does she have one to Saudi Arabia,
Yep.
Africa,
And
somewhere?" Yeah,
Australia.
Australia, yeah. And they're like, no, no, no. And then the prosecution or the defense gets up and says, well, do you know about not something cruises? Like a not, you don't need your passport for a cruise because it's, they're just doing a circle. So they're not actually entering a country.
Right.
And, and the expert was like, I don't know. I'm just telling you what the passport
Exactly.
says.
I don't know those things. I don't know anything. He said, "I've never been on a cruise. I don't know anything about it." The guy was, I think, Cook was trying to say you can go on a cruise and not need your passport for those countries, which
Right.
I don't know. Maybe you possibly can. I
Yeah.
also have never been on a cruise, so,
Yeah, I've
but
been on a cruise. If you get off on an island, you have to show your passport because you're entering that country. But it's you don't get a stamp or anything like that. You just have to show it. So I'm not sure where he was going with that. But anyways,
right.
neither here nor there. It isn't
Yeah.
her her stories. I mean, who does a cruise to Australia and Saudi Arabia at the same
Well,
time?
right. Yeah. I think that for some reason that is part of her story, that she went to Saudi Arabia, that she went to Australia, that her people inside of her went there, which, once again, we're tripping close to DID, which we're not going to talk about because Jeannie's going to lose her cookies here.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that's what they were trying to get to. And he was kind of trying to say, like, "Oh, well, yeah, she could have gone, and they wouldn't have stamped it." Well, I'm pretty sure you would know on a cruise if you were actually going to a different country, like a country like Australia. I
Yeah,
don't think cruises go there, but let's say they were,
right.
yeah, yeah. I
I
just
they're just proving her wrong, but and then he asks the odd questions just to confuse the jury because maybe the jury hasn't been on a cruise either. So he's just trying to confuse the situation, which I guess is his job. But then again, it was like, shut up.
that's what I said. Okay, Cook, sit down. You have
Yeah,
you've asked enough. No more questions.
no more questions. You're just not asking the right questions.
I tend to tell him what to say a lot. It's terrible.
Oh my gosh, it's interesting.
Well, and
I'm just
around here, this trial is kind of taken over. This morning,
oh
well, when the judge said, "All rise for the jury," I actually stood up and I was like, "Okay." I told my husband, "Yep, it's okay if you don't stand up." I looked at the cats. It's all right. You guys are good. Mommy's crazy. I'm gonna just sit back right back down here in a minute. You
yep,
know?
right.
Yeah.
Maybe I should not stand up in my living room.
Yeah, maybe I should not stand up for the jury. Although I love that they do that. I think that's
Yeah,
great that they give them respect.
right, right.
You know.
Yeah, I'm not excited for the 5 hours of more lies, but hopefully it'll pick up after the 5 hours.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to skip through a few parts if I'm going to be totally honest. If she gets into another story about, I don't know, I think how she landed today, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but didn't she land that he was taken from the Petco? She was trying to say that he was laying down in the truck, she was looking outside, and that she didn't want to seem like the parent that leaves their kids in the car, forget about their kids in the car. She's saying some nonsense like that. So I'm thinking that's where she landed. So I think the 5 hours is going to be a news story, which may make it a little bit more palatable, if that's
Maybe.
possible. I say that with,
Maybe.
She said, thank you. I go to the doctor in the morning. Her thing is interview with the behavioralist from the FBI, I think. Oh, the behavioralist is going to
Oh
interview her.
boy.
That'll be good
Which
then. I
means,
kind
yeah,
of like
which
that
means
guy.
it's gonna.
The guy
Yeah.
doesn't have a personality.
Yeah,
That's
you're
that.
saying he did. Yeah. Uh,
But I'm interested in what he has to
what
say.
are
I
you
think he's
saying?
like,
Exactly. There's no personality, and you really shouldn't be a witness, except what he has to say is really interesting. Yes.
right, right, right.
Exactly. Exactly.
I, I think it's going to be
Now,
good.
Gannon,
He has many, many years of experience of getting into the mind. He says he's worked on serial killer cases and he sounds like he has like a lot of experience. And so I'm really interested to see how he gets into the mind of Letecia and how he plays into her personality of always having to be the star and the front and center and feel sorry for me, how he plays into that. I'm really
oh
interested
yeah.
of how
Oh
that
yeah.
goes
Yeah.
because
He
um
does. Yeah.
because he's
Did you
probably just as manipulative as her. You know what I mean? He's probably just as cunning and if, by trade, he's not doing it for his own benefit, but
right? But you said you did like him, or at least you liked what he had to say, right?
I liked his career choice. His personality is kind of stoic. He's kind of just like on the stand, anyways.
Yeah. Like I'm here.
Yeah, he's just kind of he doesn't have a lot of personality, but I I maybe that again is just him playing into the role that he needs to play. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So,
I don't-
Dead Barbarian said, anyone catch that Gannon, quote
But
unquote, busted his lip and nose, and that she didn't want to send him to school like that during the call after lunch, I think.
yes,
I don't
I
get that.
did.
Maybe
That's
I
where I
did get
was.
that.
So what I was saying earlier, I think it was before a lot of people joined, is I didn't want to listen to her, but I did because there's always a little bit of truth in her lies. And so it
Yes.
started out that, he just had a little bit of burns on him with a little bit of blood. And then it was he cut his foot. And then it was he had a busted lip and nose. And it
Yes.
was, how did he get the busted lip and nose? And she skated around it. And it was like,
Hmm.
what's going on here? And that was the first time, the very first time that there was
Right.
probably a little bit of truth in it, in what she was saying. And a busted lip and a busted nose. He hit his head so she's explaining a few injuries away. He hit his head because he fell off his bike, which later she said, no, he didn't fall off his bike. So she didn't land there, but she definitely did land on he was taken. So yeah,
Exactly.
I,
Mm.
Dead Barbarian, I think it's half truth as well. I agree, but I think there was a lot more than a busted lip. It was probably a gunshot through his jaw, but yeah.
Right. That would bleed just a little.
She didn't want to send him to school like that.
And boy, she got really upset when he said that Gannon was. What did he say? Oh, see, here's what happened today. I ended up filling a notebook, so I had to go to the second one, and I'm trying to flip back through the notebooks. He said he was staggering. Is that what he said? Staggering when he went
Staggering?
out to the when he went out to the to the truck when he went out to the car.
I didn't hear that. Did
You know
anybody
what I'm
else
talking
hear
about?
that? But from the video, you can kind of see him kind of staggering. He drops something and Letecia picks it up for him as if he's injured and or can't bend down, like he's
Yeah, I'm
struggling a
trying to
little bit.
find it here. Trying to
Yeah.
find it. She was really mad, like really, really mad. While I find it, there's another thing. I think it's really sad that he was making a memory box. I wonder
Aww.
what I wonder what was in that memory box. Okay, so let's see. Al was trying to imply that he was staggering. I'm not sure if the word staggering. I'm looking up right now. He was doing that because he lost blood. She was trying to say that it was because his stomach hurt. Hold on a
Yeah.
second. Bring it up. Clean the room.
Did you guys hear him say, and he didn't return? We know and you didn't bring him back. Like you drove around and you didn't bring him back. I
I
think they
did
were,
hear him say that.
yeah. And I'm like, did he come back or did he not come back? My whole theory is that he didn't come back. But I think they proved that in the affidavit, they said that he did come back
Yeah.
because of all the blood in his room.
Well,
It was pooling blood.
I
So I'm
think
like,
that he was. I think at that point he thought that she left in the morning. She took him somewhere and left him, and that she was that he was. I think that's what Al believed. Beside the evidence, I think that's what
yeah,
Al believed.
I
And
believed.
yeah,
Okay. So he was just
um,
bringing all the theories up. I get that.
right,
He was just running it across her or, to see what she would, find the truth within the lies. Yeah, absolutely. He was reading off
drugs.
of all the different theories. I agree. I agree. Yeah, I was looking into it way too much because in the beginning I really thought that he didn't return. I thought that she had that suitcase in the back of the truck
Yeah,
because when she pulled off, it was something bounced out of the back of the truck. And I thought for sure that she took him to that area with the suitcase and
right.
did something there. But then, they did mention all the pooling blood within the room that appears to be. And that was the sad part about yesterday's testimony, the blood evidence, where he said this was a very bloody, vicious, multiple crime scene.
Multiple events. Yeah.
Multiple events.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So,
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
yeah. And so that it and his parents, Gannon's parents, are listening to this about how bad this scene was. There
Then
was
to hear
voided,
that,
yeah, there was voided areas where she was blocking the blood spool, maybe with a bladed object and
yeah,
shot, or yeah, shooting and just, oh my gosh, I'm like, wow. And then he's going through each of those blood spatters and I'm just like, that woman is terrible, terrible, terrible,
kind of.
terrible.
You're kind of breaking up a little there.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me? Oh no, I'm breaking up here.
Yeah,
Oh,
wanting us
okay.
to see that.
Yeah, and so yeah,
Um,
that kind of like it. I'm
so
not.
here it
I'm
is. Hang
kind of.
on.
I'm kind of ick with
Let me
blood,
see.
anyways. And so
So
when he was explaining all the blood stuff,
I
I
wanted
was
to
just
sleep
like,
over. I wanted to be a cool mom. Just
yeah,
peeling. Here it is. Wait a minute.
yeah. When he, can you hear me? Hello, Hello, can you hear me? Whoop, hello? Hello, hello, hello. Oh, we can hear you. Okay, it must be I can. Okay, I don't know. Jeannie fell off, so maybe something happened on her, and sorry about that. I thought I couldn't hear her, so I thought you guys couldn't hear me, so I'm glad you can hear me. But yeah, when they were talking about the blood evidence and then them talking about it pooling and all that, I was getting so queasy, and I'm just like, oh, those poor parents. I think they said the bullet hole was in the pillow. Yes, I did hear that too. She shot him out of, let's see here. Oh, here you go. Um, he was he was he was drugged where he was dumped. You think maybe is that what that
Yeah.
means? You think he was shot where he was dumped? I
Oh,
question if she shot
in the
him where
suitcase.
he was dumped. I yeah, maybe. Um, it seemed like they proved that with that blood expert that he predicted that there was it happened in the room based on the blood spatters.
Yeah, and she's like, and you had no business going in that room.
Yeah,
He
I
said I
mean,
didn't. He said I didn't say I went in there. I said I was shown it. That could have meant he saw pictures, right?
I love when she asks, "Why can't you stay in the house?"
Right. Yeah, exactly. Trying to find it here. Hang on. Gosh, I really want that word. Okay, so before I get the word, here's something. So, um, in the chat, one of my friends is here, and she actually has DID. I asked her if we could discuss. Well, if the DID came up, if she would join the discussion. Now,
Wow. Okay,
yeah, I didn't know she was going to come. I'm sorry, Kim. I would have let you know.
that's
Um,
okay.
so the defense has alluded to many times that Leticia has different personalities. She has a whole host of names, and that's why she is not guilty by reason of insanity. Now, here on this channel, we have argued that well, that's just hokum. That she's not crazy. That she did know right from wrong, but also we've talked about that if she had DID, that still doesn't mean she's crazy. We Kim even brought up, that is a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Um, so I just wondered, um, the person on here is listed as Samantha Dixon. Hey Sammy, I wondered if you had a thought about um, a person like this. If they did have DID, we do not believe she has DID. But if she had DID, which used to be called, for everyone who doesn't understand, DID used to be called multiple personality disorder. And then it was changed to dissociative identity disorder. And what it means in a nutshell is that the person is so traumatized that their mind creates several personalities, or at least one more personality, that is a guardian that protects them. And some of the personalities may be younger, some personalities may be older. It just depends, and it is really it's never the same.
Right.
It's not like you have DIT, you have four personalities, and they're exactly the same. Everyone is different. Now, general and I'm speaking generally, and Samantha, I'm hoping that you can correct me if I'm wrong, but people with DID lose time when alters switch. They lose time. So one alter, let's say me, let's say I had other personalities. When another personality, or they call them alters, would take control of my mind, my body, I would lose time because I wouldn't be there. It might be 1 o'clock when it happened, and then at 4 o'clock, all of a sudden, I'm back and I may not know what happened. Um, I don't think we've seen any of that from Letecia. She seemed right, Kim. She seemed normal in the phone calls. She seemed like,
Yeah, yeah,
and Al hasn't said, "Oh yeah, my wife, would sometimes say, oh, it was 1 o'clock, and I don't know what I did." Um, I hang on a second here. Um, so I'm just gonna ask here, Samantha, do you have any
yeah.
thoughts?
Right,
I
right.
mean,
Robin, personality disorders are not a defense. I completely agree. Even mitigating in criminal cases. Yeah, yeah. She definitely has a personality disorder, but I don't think that she has DID. But I am no professional.
right. We're not professionals. These are just our opinions. And everything that we say here is an opinion, and no one is guilty until they're proven guilty, and everything we say is alleged.
Right, right.
We're gonna put all that in there.
Exactly.
But
This whole episode is our opinions. And Nancy, we started at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And then we'll start on Friday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time as well.
oh,
No
that's right.
court. No
Tomorrow
court
is
tomorrow.
a off day. I can't stand if they stand that. So Samantha said, or Sammy said, you are. We're gonna go with correct. And yes, their mind changes, but they can change. They can change what she's doing or acting. So you're saying that even though let me see. Are you saying? Hang on, I'm gonna type this. Maybe she can't hear. I'm gonna put this here. This
Yeah.
here.
I think that if you have DID, what she's saying is that your alter can have you act a certain way or do certain things that it kind of goes in line with losing time because yeah, is how I understand it. But
Right, you're losing time, so can make you do things that you're not doing.
right, right.
Right, I understand. Which makes sense. That's what I've heard. Um, do you see that here? Have you seen any? I mean, not that you're an expert either, and I'm sorry, I'm not. I don't want to put all of this on you.
But somebody
But
with experience with it could probably have more understanding
I
of what it is and recognize some of the
oh,
things that the defense is claiming is something that they're seeing in Tisha.
right, and she said you are right, Kim. So they do take control of your body, and they do what they're gonna do, regardless of your thoughts or feelings or
Yeah, and so
and
that's why they need to be in a mental in that degree. There's different degrees, of course, and that's why they put said people into an institution so they could protect them and protect the public, which is understandable.
right.
And that's exactly where they should be because
So, Samantha, you're saying you do see that here. You believe that Letitia has possibly has DID. Is that what you're saying? And if you are, that's fine. I mean, we
oh yeah, absolutely. I
opinions
would
are opinions, and we really want to know. We don't know. We're looking at it from the outside. I don't know what it's like to have other alters in me, and to have to. Oh, she said yes, big time. You do see it in her. Okay.
okay.
Do
What
you
what
have instances? Do you know when? What were you going to say, Kim? I'm
Yep,
sorry.
same thing. Same question.
Same thing. When did you see it, or what did you see? Um, was it? I'm assuming it was during the phone calls, because we haven't seen, or it might have been actions. We haven't seen a lot of Letitia. Like, well, in her, we did see her interview. There was that.
Yep, we've
Um,
seen that. When she wasn't getting her way, she
yeah,
resorted to, I'm having a panic attack. I need to leave. Um, but as far
yeah.
as a
Now,
complete shift in personality, I haven't really seen it. But
If she had, I'm going to play devil's advocate. If
right,
she had DID, perhaps the altar took control then and decided, okay, you tried to talk your way out of here. This isn't working. So I'm going
right.
to, we're going to do this instead, even if we have to get to the hospital and then run. The only thing I will say, I'm not playing devil's advocate anymore. What I will say is her actions and the way she acted, and the things in the car, in Janine's car on the way to Taco Bell, well, from Taco Bell to Janine's house, were weird. They were out there. They just really were. I You just ask this girl that you barely know if you're gonna stay the night. If you can stay the night, not only that, use your daughter's phone from the back seat, and you text her, and she's in the front seat. I, you know, that's just weird. I don't do that. Do you do that? Do you sit in the back seat, text someone that's in the front seat? Not unless it's funny, you know. But she texted her and asked, hey, can I can I stay the night, or am I allowed to stay the night, or whatever that
Yeah,
question was. I'm
right, right.
not sure what the question was, but yeah, I just thought that was weird. Instead of just leaning up to the front seat and saying, hey, I know Harley's staying with you. Is it okay if I stay too? It would
Right.
have taken that long. Literally. So,
Exactly, exactly, instead of texting it and yeah.
right. Yeah.
Somebody said, Shanna, what about her throwing out today that in the audio, that she was 5 weeks pregnant? I swear, I watched it. I listened to it. I did not hear that either. I think I zone out.
5 weeks pregnant. No, I didn't hear that either. But I did see something on the news about her being pregnant and that they proved she was not. Sam says Jeannie answered you. She said throughout the whole investigation and phone calls and how she's been acting. So, Sammy is seeing something else that we are not seeing.
Interesting.
Which,
I wonder if the jury is seeing the same thing, if they understand it, and maybe the experts will you know kind of give us some cues to look for.
sure. Well, don't forget that I'm trying to pull her up now. Lewis. Oh, hang on a second. Just wait. Hang on a second.
I don't listen to her. I swear I zone out. I find it so painful. That is crazy. I'm 5 weeks pregnant. He's probably like, whatever, dude. She
No,
asked and said it told her. Oh, I remember. Oh, I do remember her saying she went to the doctor and he said, "How was it?" And then she mumbled something and he said, "Oh," and then they moved on. But I didn't really hear what her response was. So that's what she was
oh, was that what
saying.
it was about?
I heard her mumble
Ah,
something, but I didn't
gotcha.
really hear what she said. I didn't really care. I'm like, yeah, she went to the doctor, whatever. It's another lie. I'm not going to waste my energy to bother
Gotcha.
to hear what she actually said. I
Right.
actually had to turn it down. I really was getting a headache. She's
Yeah.
hard to follow a lot of
Okay.
times.
Hang on. Hang on
She
just
talks so
1 second.
fast.
I'm finding this.
And then when the other person that she's talking to, she makes them feel like they're stupid because she'll say, "I already said that. I already explained that," like with an attitude and that's with whomever she's talking to, the FBI agent, Al, anybody that she's talking to. And it just drives me nuts. It's have a decent conversation. You don't have to make somebody else feel stupid. You know what I mean? Because you're talking very fast and it's very important. Let's make sure we get it down. And she's like,
Exactly.
I already said that.
Just keep
Like,
going. Yeah.
yeah.
I am
Oh,
trying to pull up.
Shanna, maybe I should start listening with my earpods. My AirPods, so I don't walk away from it to get a break. Because I missed a
Funny.
lot of stuff. I feel bad because, the whole point of having these is to kind of give an update, and I feel like I missed everything.
That's funny. Hang on.
her phone constantly cuts out when
Or
she doesn't want to answer. I 100, or the little, her breaks when she's trying to calculate an answer. You don't hear her talk for a while. She's just kind of like, and then she'll start talking again. It's like, we can tell that you're calculating something in your head there,
yeah,
Leticia.
we can tell that you're working it out.
Right. Oh, wow.
Hang on. I am trying to find the name of. Oh, cannot believe I can't. It just won't come to my brain. The forensic psychologist who is interviewing her. Do you know what I'm talking about? We talked about it, and I said, "Oh boy, that's not good." Who is that?
Hmm.
Lewis. Oh, I can't think of her name. I'm looking it up. Give me
I'm sorry.
one. What? What's that?
What was your question? I'm
What did you
sorry.
say about? Well, I was talking about the. He's got us. My point was that she interviewed
Dr.
her.
Lewis. Yeah,
Doc,
Dr.
yeah,
Lewis.
I knew it was Dr. Lewis, but I was trying to think of her first name. So she she was one of the first to identify DID. And she was
Okay.
one of the first psychologists to say, yes, it exists, because for a very, very, very long time, psychologists and psychiatrists believed it didn't exist, that it was
Yeah.
just hokum, that people didn't have it. So she was one of the first to believe that it exists. So my point is, she interviewed her, and then Dorothy Lewis. Thank you, Michael. That was my
Yep.
husband. Thank you, my husband. He even got her middle name. Look at him go. He knows how I am about middle names. Okay, so my point was, when Samantha was talking about, um, you know, how she saw that in Tisha, and we're not seeing it, right? I'm
Right.
wondering if that's why, you know, because this doctor is, well, she's not really like a specialist in DID, but she has interviewed several patients that have DID. She's
She has
also
a lot of
interviewed,
experience, yeah, in it. Yeah.
right. I mean, she's also interviewed a lot of, patients that did not. She's interviewed a lot of, we'll call them big names, right? Which is why I wondered what was she doing interviewing her. But then I thought about it. Do you remember I asked you that? How did she get Dorothy Lewis? But
Right.
I wonder if she got her because she's so infamous.
Yeah.
Because she interviewed a lot of infamous cases, Um,
Right.
I'm not saying she did it on purpose. I don't want to, dog on Dorothy Lewis. I'm sure she's great. I wonder if she is seeing what Samantha saw, what we are not seeing.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be glued to the TV. I really do wanna hear what they say. I'm not gonna be closed-minded because either
No,
way
no,
either way, she's going somewhere. She's either gonna go
right,
to a mental hospital where she needs to be, or she's going to prison. She's not going home. I
right,
just hate that she would get the comforts, if she doesn't have it, and then proves one day that she's mentally fit and they re-enter her into society again. I never
right.
want her to be free again. I don't believe she deserves it. I think she's a very, very dangerous person.
Yeah,
Just with the amount of force she put on a 10, 11-year-old boy. I mean, there's,
right. That's my fear. Not how would she be treated in either place. My fear is that in a psychiatric institution, she can, quote unquote, get better. And if
yeah.
she, quote unquote, gets better, then she could possibly leave. You know,
Hmm.
unless, now, I don't think that they do like life in, they don't do it like that. They do it like until you're better, because it's not guilty by reason of insanity. So then
Right.
once you're not sane anymore, in my opinion, in some of these, once you're sane, then you should be tried. Actually tried, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? But we can't do that. We don't do two trials. Like I get that.
Right.
But
Right.
I'm wondering if, this Dorothy Lewis, if she is seeing what Samantha saw. Smith said prison so she can get the same treatment as Gannon did. I agree, Sammy, and I'm sorry I keep calling you Samantha. I agree, Sammy. I completely do. I think everyone in here does, and
Right.
I, I don't think she would fare well in prison because a lot of those women are moms and they're away from their kids, and people who kill children don't do well. Kim, we've seen that before, right?
Right. Right.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Reagan
100%.
was talking about how she was floored about you know what's that?
No, I
What were
feel
you
the
saying,
same.
hon?
Just that the
Oh,
cheating, the cheating when his son's
yeah,
missing, like it's so pointless.
right,
Like, what are we talking about here? Like, he's
right,
going out
and
and getting tail when his son's missing. Like, I think that's the last thing on his mind. I'm pretty sure that he's in a mental state that's not in a
yeah,
performance
no,
position. It's so
and I mean,
dumb.
I don't know if all of you heard it, but there was a portion, a large portion, where freaking where Leticia kept asking Al, basically questions that led to, basically, are you cheating on me? Like, well, who are you with? Were you alone last night? Like
Yeah.
he was cheating, and
Mhm. Yeah.
and he said, "I'm alone. I'm here to find my son."
Son.
You
Yes.
know,
Duh.
how do I get back to that Christmas where we had those 5 people?
Yeah, and our
It's
dogs and
Yeah, and our
yeah.
dogs. That was my happy time. How do we, you know, Erica, is she already getting the peanut butter threats like
Yeah, her
Sarah?
peanut butter her peanut butter's talking to her, they're sending notes in her peanut butter.
Well, Sarah Boone, who is in the, not Ocala, she is in jail in Florida, close to Orlando, and she was getting threats in peanut butter. It was actually like crushed up glass.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she was they were
Who
serious.
who's the girl that killed her boyfriend, that
Yeah,
it was singing in
in the
the in
in the suitcase.
no, in the
Oh,
bathroom, and she tried to wash her camera.
oh, Jodi Arias.
Yes.
Yeah,
She actually I thought that she was gonna be treated really bad in prison, and she was for the first couple of years, but
no,
now she's in general public, and she has a cellmate that was interviewed and talked about her,
yes,
and the her cellmate, like, killed her child, so she's kind of, like, on the outs too, like,
right.
they're not very loved people, in within the jail, but she did eventually go into public, where it isn't, where she's always alone, protective custody. The
Yeah,
case dies down, the name isn't out there as much. I don't know, she could go.
yeah. Could be
um
the same thing as Jody. Yeah, you're right. I
yeah.
thought the same thing, and yeah, then she gets right that cellmate spoke out and said, she was my cellmate, and she was a good cellmate.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, until she was on the outside and she started having her do things, like don't things against her parents, and nothing
Right.
illegal, but yeah.
Right. Right.
um yeah, which Leticia I would exactly do. That if she gets a hold of any prisoner befriends her, that's it. She is
Yeah.
going to manipulate them. She's going to manipulate them for everything she can.
Right. Right.
That's just, it's in her nature, you
Right.
know.
Right. Right. There was another case that I covered that was a child case, and I don't know why I get on camera and I can't remember anybody's name, but was also in the same. Oh, Gabrielle Fernandez.
I was gonna say, tell me the case, and I'll remind you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
her the mom in prison had a cellmate, and they became friends because they were both child killers, and
yep,
so they build relationships. So
they
it's
did.
not
Yeah,
we how I see it is that she's going to be locked down forever, but that's not what actually happens. I'm not
right.
saying that they have a great life. They're in prison. I
But
mean,
still, they're
but
still, you know, they're still working. They're still having friends. They're still going for walks in their whatever they
maybe not
have.
right away, but years down the line when the case dies down, then people forget and
Right.
they
Exactly.
go on to be a regular inmate. Maybe you know, you have a few people that are still have it out for you or don't like you as it should be, but for the most
Yeah.
part, yeah, I've heard it in a couple cases because in my mind, I'm thinking this lady's going to be hated forever, and you know they have to protect her because she's going to get attacked left,
Right.
right, and center, and maybe that will be the case. But again, I've seen it in a couple cases, and we know
Yeah.
Gabriel Fernandez. That case was horrible, and she has a cellmate, and they're friends, and the cellmate's talking about her, and
Yeah.
how she got jumped. The mom got jumped walking in public because they let her into regular population, and I mean they eventually had to take her back out. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, and also, um, just right after that, Anthony Avalos, his mom, and the boyfriend, he's part of MS-13, so he has no problem in jail. He's protected,
yep,
and the mom, according to what I've seen, she's doing great too. It's like, how does this happen? You know,
hmm,
they torture a child to death, and in both those cases, you and I know it was torture. They
yeah,
torture those children to death, and
yes,
then they have this life where I don't
yeah.
know.
They
Sometimes
mingle
I
with.
think that that it needs to be not just life in prison, but life in prison in solitary.
Under the
Not
jail.
not specifically like in the hole, but like in a cell where you are alone. You have your bed, you have your clothes, or well, clothing. You have your whatever it is. You have access to the you know prison laundry so they can wash your clothes. Like, you have a normal kind of living, except you are alone. I
Hmm,
think that they should put that in there, and it's I don't know. Maybe I don't
yeah,
know. Maybe we should just feel lucky that we're not in the UK.
right, right. Because they'd get 20
Because
years because that's a life sentence. Don't
right,
forget about, someone says, don't forget about Casey Anthony. That woman is
yeah,
kind of hated, but she's out at the bar having fun, having boyfriends. And so she's
yeah.
living. She might, I just seen somebody cover the Casey Anthony case today. It was O'Neill.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So her name is still out there. People are still hating on her, but she's
Can you
kind of living kind of a semi normal life.
can you imagine being Casey Anthony's boyfriend? Like,
Good
what?
Lord.
I
Ew.
can't. Oh, mm-mm.
Yeah. Ew. Ew, ew, ew. Yuck.
Old Bat Two Cats, excuse me, said, "I think I might be nice too if my cellmate were badder than me." Well, yep, that is true.
Sleep with one eye open.
That is very much true. I get that. Yeah, yeah. Um, before we, I don't know, we're not going yet. But before I forget, I just wanted to say, we talk about we talk about this, and we don't know what we're talking about. I do appreciate Sammy giving us some personal information. That's a lot to go out there and just say, hey, by the way,
Yeah,
we have all these people inside me.
right.
So yeah, thank you for that. Before we move
No,
on.
it is nice to hear a different perspective, and that's why I'm excited about the experts that are going to testify in
Yeah,
this case.
yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of times I think they're baloney, but I do want to hear what they have to say.
Sure.
I honestly think that the Lewis lady is promoting her new Netflix show, and so she
Yes,
inserted herself into this case. So I think it's
could be.
a
Yeah.
publicity stunt versus actually thinking that Leticia. But
Yep.
I could be
Yep.
wrong. I'm
Well,
going to be
no,
open
no,
minded.
it very much could be. It's exactly what I thought. And think about it. If you're her and you have this case, Letecia Stauch, coming up, well, what would you do? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you would hop on the bandwagon, and if that's the side you're on,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And a dead barbarian said, "I really love people's open opinions on these cases." I do too.
I do
I do
too.
too. I like it when we can talk about everybody,
Sure.
other
Sure.
sides, and yeah,
Because there definitely is two sides, and there may be something that I'm not seeing that somebody else has experience in and can add value to it. Absolutely. I'm open.
look at
I
that.
think I still think she's guilty as sin, but oh, thank you, Regan. It's very nice of you. Thank you.
Look at that, Reagan. So this is a safe space on YouTube. Love our hosts and chatters. Thank you all. Thank you very much for contributing to Kim's channel, Reagan. That was amazing. Thank you, thank
Very
you,
sweet.
thank you. And yes, we hope we do, right, Kim? We hope this is a safe space where you can say whatever you want.
Sure. Sure.
You know?
Not everybody has to get along. I mean, we all have to be polite to each other, but we don't have to all
No.
agree. That's so boring. I mean, I like that Samantha brought a different perspective to it
Right?
because, if we can all just say the same, I know we're all thinking the same thing, but, for someone to say, hey, maybe it is DID. Either
Right.
way, she's not going home. Either way, she's either going to a mental
Right.
hospital, she's going to prison. I'd rather see her go to prison, but she's not going home. Her flipping people off during the court session, I don't know, that was a
Oh,
little weird. Her
goodness.
life is on the line, so was that a personality thing? Today she's wearing a bun, and yesterday she's looking like somebody from a horror movie. So I don't know. Does that mean
If she
anything?
has, think about it. If she has DID, are those her personalities? Or
Yeah,
on the flip side, is she pretending to have DID so she's dressing up as these personalities?
exactly. She's
The book
smart.
the
Yeah,
book
I mean,
Sybil is out there, and it is in prison libraries, so anybody can read it. Anybody can read about Sybil's struggle, the woman
mhm,
who's labeled Sybil. And yeah, so anybody can do that. I yeah, I wonder if she's dressing up as other people or if other people are there. That's what I wonder.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. All right. Well, she has DID. Very good.
Nancy was saying something. I can't remember what Nancy was saying here. I'm looking for Nancy. Where did it go? Nancy, what you're saying? Oh, if Dr. Lewis is doing it for PR purposes, it's terrible.
It
Yes,
is.
exactly.
It is.
If that is the reason, it is. Yeah, yeah. And like I said, pretty much until this moment, I would have said no. There's no way she has it. I haven't seen any signs. However, we have here someone who has it and who has struggled so hard with it,
Yeah.
really hard, and who has, you know, not managed, maybe conquer, but deal with and live with all of these altars and live with this and sees this in her and says she
Yep.
has DID. So maybe we need to look harder. I wish we could see Leticia's face. I wish
Her
we could.
expressions. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have that. I wish we did.
Yeah.
I
Is it because the camera can't focus? Or are
really
they
do.
intentionally doing that?
I think I think it's just how the camera was set up. I think they agreed to this camera here, this camera there, this camera there, and that's how
Okay.
it is.
So
Because I
then you
think
can't see her? Yeah.
right. I think at one point somebody mentioned turning the camera or focusing on something. I can't remember what it was, some witness, and they talked about how they had agreed it was say here. I cannot remember, but I do think it's set in their communications agreement. I'm not
Okay.
sure, but I think it is. I haven't seen the communications agreement, so I don't know, but I think it is.
Yeah.
Which it's terrible because you and I have seen how many trials. I don't know how many trials you watch, but I can't name how
Too
many.
many to count.
Yeah, exactly. I've watched way too many, and 99% of the time, you can see the defendant.
Yes.
You can see them, you know. Yeah, and yes, she was blocking her view so no one could see her face.
And then they moved her over, but we still can't
Right.
see her face. I mean, we can see an outline of blurriness. We can see the prosecution's face, or at least when they're at the podium. And we can
Oh,
see
I can't see. I need better stuff. I can't.
when he's at the podium. I can see him, but not
Got you. So a little bit closer.
a little bit closer,
Yeah.
more centered. But off to the sides, you can't really see anything, and you definitely can't see anything. It may be because they're trying to protect the identity of who's in the gallery, because you can't see that, and the gallery is right behind them. So maybe that's
You mean
another.
the jury?
No, the gallery, the people like Al and Landon and all
right,
them.
right. You can
Yeah,
kind of, but right, not up close. It's
right.
possible.
Yeah.
Who was it? Jeff was asking if she was approved to use earplugs. Now, if she was approved to use earplugs, they would be earplugs that enhanced sound. I've never heard of an inmate that got earplugs to block sound. Never heard of that.
Yeah.
I have heard of inmates who ask to skip the trial. Every time that they've asked, they've been told no. So I mean, it's possible. I don't know. Jeff said she watched Mel and they could see her facial expressions. She laughed. She's been writing all day long. Huh.
Interesting. I'll have to go check it out. I think maybe
Yes.
I'm maybe watching. I'm watching Law and Crime, and I think Channel
Oh,
9's probably better. And
right.
then maybe there's a different one that I need to
Right.
to click on. I've watched him as well. He's pretty
Right.
entertaining.
Yes. Yes. I watched. I've been watching Channel 9 just because. Do you remember at the beginning I
Yeah.
told you that they had it set up different and better?
Yeah.
So I've been watching it since then. I just in general, but
Okay, Jess, I'm gonna have to go over and check him out and see. Maybe I can see a symbol on his screen as well to where he's watching it from, like Channel 9 or
where's he
something.
getting it? What's his
Where is he
source?
getting
Right.
it? Right. So I can watch that one because I
Yeah.
don't want to watch Letecia any more than I have to.
Exactly.
But I will watch it on Friday if I can find out. I didn't see her flip off Harley, but I did see that she flipped whomever off several times, and they considered it like
Oh, right.
witness intimidation and
Yes.
disrespectful. And
I didn't think of it that way, but that's funny. Witness intimidation.
yeah, she's a jerk. She's such a jerk.
A little bit, yeah.
So the camel.
Okay, so here I go again, Kim, putting my email out there. Yes, I am. Oh, I'm typing it wrong. I don't know what it is, but there you go.
Here it is.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here. We will meet on Friday at 6 p.m. I hope, or 6 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Colorado time. So we'll meet just right an hour after the trial concludes so we can get our notes together. And we will spend our Friday night together. Fingernails on a chalkboard, yes. So I hope we find out. Do you hear the blender going?
Did I give a shout out to the channel who promoted us? I cannot remember. Goodness, it feels like it's been 6 hours ago.
You did, but do it again. You did at the beginning, so maybe there's some new people.
I cannot remember, but that's What's the Obsession. Currently, she's working on the Murdoch murders. Currently working on I believe Stephen Smith. So
type her name in, and then I'll put it on the screen if you don't mind.
Sure, I could do that. It comes up as 1 second here. The channel name is Oh yeah, I forgot. You got my well, I don't know. I don't do I have a twang?
Do you have a twang?
Do I have a twang? Do I have like
North Carolina.
Virginia, but I don't think I
I know,
have
but
one.
North Carolina's where Leticia's from.
And yes, Miss Erica Wells, her channel is if you just type into YouTube Watts the Obsession, she started it with when Chris Watts was big. She started it originally then. She's a psychologist and she works with young folks and she kind of puts her psychologist input on in her videos. So yeah, yeah, give her a check out. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway,
Absolutely. That's awesome. I
yeah,
appreciate that. What's the obsession? Go check her out.
yeah, yes.
All
And
right.
so Friday, I'm going to let's see here. What am I doing? I have a list. I cannot remember. That's right. I'm going to go back to the end of the testimony to the last two calls because we were talking about. She said that Al said he wanted to adopt Harley. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into that, and then also I'm gonna look into Chance Hunt, Harley's dad, get some kind of background on him, and then did Harley ever make it into the Air Force? So there you go. That's my plan. And then it'll be derailed by court because good knows Grace who knows what she'll say. She's crazy.
Right. Exactly. I'm really interested to hear.
All right, you got
Okay.
anything
I'm just
else?
Nope, I was just reading through the comments to see if I missed something, but yeah, let's meet on Friday, 6 p.m., guys. Thanks so much for being here. I love you so much.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Goodbye.